Hiring managers instantly reject candidates who do these 5 things. A guy named Ryan walked into a job interview convinced he had it in the bag. His resume was strong. His experience matched the job. He answered every question. Then 3 days later, he got the email. We've decided to move forward with another candidate. Again, and again, and again. What Ryan didn't know was that he was being judged long before the interview ended. Not because he lacked skills, not because he lacked experience, but because he made a few mistakes that hiring managers notice immediately. Mistakes most candidates don't even realize they're making. And here's the scary part. You might be making them too. Every year, millions of people apply for jobs. According to data from the hiring platform JobVite, a single corporate job opening can attract hundreds of applications, while recruiters often spend only a few seconds reviewing candidates during early screening stages. Think about that. Years of experience, degrees, certifications, late nights studying, and sometimes your opportunity disappears because of something you said, something you did, or even how you presented yourself in the room. Not because you're unqualified, because you triggered a silent red flag, a red flag nobody tells you about. A wisdom writer once said, "The door rarely closes with a sound. Most opportunities leave quietly." That's exactly what happens to many job seekers. Nobody tells them what went wrong. Nobody explains why they weren't selected. They just receive another rejection email and start wondering if the problem is their experience. Sometimes it isn't. Sometimes the problem is something much smaller. Now, before we continue, this video is strictly for educational purposes. Not all HR professionals are bad. Not all hiring managers think the same way. Many recruiters genuinely want candidates to succeed, but understanding how hiring decisions are often made can help you avoid common mistakes and present yourself more effectively. That's the goal of this video. Not fear, preparation. Not manipulation, awareness. And make sure you stay until the end, because the 5th mistake is the one that destroys more interviews than almost any other. Most candidates never realize they're doing it. We'll also cover practical ways to avoid every mistake so you can walk into your next interview with more confidence and a better strategy. Let's get into it. Now here's where things start going wrong. Mistake number 1. Showing up unprepared. This sounds obvious, but the reality is worse than most people think. According to surveys conducted by CareerBuilder and various hiring studies, recruiters consistently rank lack of preparation among the biggest interview deal breakers. Yet candidates still walk into interviews knowing almost nothing about the company. They don't know the products. They don't know the mission. They don't know recent company developments. And they definitely don't know how their role contributes to the business. When hiring managers notice this, they immediately begin asking themselves one question. If they didn't prepare for the interview, how will they prepare for the job? And that's a dangerous question to trigger. But here's what most people don't realize. It's about demonstrating interest. Before every interview, research 3 things. What the company does, what challenges the industry is facing, and how your skills help solve those problems. When you connect your experience directly to their needs, the conversation changes completely. You're no longer another applicant. You're becoming a potential solution, and solutions get attention. But that's only the beginning, because the next mistake is even more damaging, and most people accidentally reveal it within the first few minutes. And real quick, if nobody ever taught you this stuff, you're exactly why this channel exists. Most people spend years learning how to do a job, but almost nobody teaches them how to actually get hired for one. So if you're serious about improving your career, avoiding costly mistakes, and giving yourself a better shot at opportunities that can genuinely change your life, hit that subscribe button. Not because it helps me, because the next video you watch here might be the one thing that keeps you from making a mistake that costs you your next opportunity. Now let's keep going, because the next mistake catches even qualified candidates off guard. Now here's where things get serious. Mistake number 2, talking more than listening. Most candidates think interviews are about proving how much they know, so they talk, and talk, and talk. A simple question turns into a 3-minute answer. A hiring manager asks one thing. The candidate answers 5 things. And without realizing it, they create a new problem. Attention fatigue. Research from communication experts consistently shows that concise communicators are often perceived as more competent and confident than people who ramble. Think about it. If someone can't organize their thoughts during an interview, what happens during a client meeting? What happens during a presentation? What happens when they're under pressure? Those questions start forming in the interviewer's mind. Fast. Here's what most successful candidates do differently. They answer the question. Then they stop. Short, clear, direct. If more detail is needed, the interviewer will ask. Silence feels uncomfortable to candidates. But to experienced interviewers, silence often signals confidence. A wisdom writer once said, "Confidence is not saying more. Confidence is knowing when enough has been said." Most people learn that lesson too late. And speaking of confidence, the next mistake can destroy your chances before you even realize it. Now, this is where many candidates accidentally sabotage themselves. Mistake number 3, projecting desperation. Let's be honest. Many people need a job. Bills are real. Rent is real. Life is expensive. Hiring managers know this. But when desperation becomes visible, it changes how people perceive you. Suddenly, you're no longer focused on value. You're focused on rescue. That shift matters. A lot. Candidates reveal desperation in different ways. They constantly mention how badly they need the job. They agree with everything. They avoid asking questions. They act as if getting hired would solve every problem in their lives. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Desperation often gets interpreted as risk. Because employers start wondering, why is nobody else hiring this person? What am I missing? Again, this isn't always fair, but it happens. The solution is simple. Focus on contribution, not need. Instead of communicating what the company can do for you, communicate what you can do for the company. Talk about outcomes, results, skills, problem solving, value, because value creates confidence, and confidence creates trust. But what comes next may be even more costly, because it often happens before a single word is spoken. Now, here's what most people don't realize. Mistake number 4. Ignoring the signals you're sending without speaking. Body language matters. A lot more than people think. According to research frequently cited in professional communication studies, people form impressions incredibly quickly during first encounters. Not minutes. Seconds. Before you've answered a question. Before you've discussed experience. Before you've shown your qualifications. An impression has already started forming. Are you making eye contact? Do you seem engaged? Do you appear interested? Do you look present? Or do you look distracted, bored, uncertain, disconnected? These small details become powerful signals, and signals influence perception. No, body language isn't everything. Skills still matter. Experience still matters, but when multiple candidates have similar qualifications, small factors often influence final decisions. That's reality. The good news? This is one of the easiest mistakes to fix. Sit upright. Maintain natural eye contact. Smile occasionally. Listen actively. Avoid checking your phone. And stay engaged throughout the conversation. Simple, but incredibly effective. Yet none of these mistakes are as dangerous as what we're about to discuss next, because this one can instantly turn a strong interview into a rejection. Now pay close attention. This might be the most expensive mistake in the entire video. Mistake number 5, blaming everyone except yourself. Maybe your previous boss was terrible. Maybe your workplace was toxic. Maybe your coworkers created problems. Maybe every complaint is completely true. But interviews are not courtrooms. They're evaluations. The moment a candidate starts blaming everyone around them, hiring managers often become cautious. Why? Because accountability matters. According to leadership and workplace performance research, employers consistently value accountability as one of the strongest professional traits. When candidates constantly point outward, interviewers start wondering what happens when something goes wrong. Will they own mistakes? Will they adapt? Will they solve problems? Or will they simply find someone else to blame? That question becomes difficult to ignore. Here's the better approach. Acknowledge challenges, then focus on lessons learned. Focus on growth. Focus on solutions. For example, instead of saying, "My manager was impossible to work with," you might say, "The experience taught me the importance of communication and adaptability." See the difference? One creates conflict, the other demonstrates maturity, and maturity gets remembered. But don't leave yet, because understanding these mistakes is only half the battle. The real question is, what do successful candidates do differently? This next part is where things shift. The strongest candidates understand one powerful truth. Interviews are not simply about qualifications. They're about reducing uncertainty. Think about it. A hiring manager isn't just hiring skills. They're making a prediction. They're asking, can this person perform? Can this person adapt? Can this person work well with others? Can this person be trusted? Every answer you give either increases confidence or increases uncertainty. That's why strong candidates focus on evidence. Not opinions, not claims, evidence. Instead of saying, "I'm a hard worker," they explain a project they completed. Instead of saying, "I'm a great leader," they describe a team they helped succeed. Instead of saying, "I'm good under pressure," they share a real example. Evidence is powerful because it removes doubt, and hiring decisions are often about removing doubt. The less uncertainty you create, the stronger your position becomes. Now here's something almost nobody talks about. Many candidates spend all their time preparing answers, but they never prepare questions. That's a huge mistake. Great questions communicate intelligence, curiosity, strategic thinking. Questions like, what separates top performers from average performers in this role? Or, what challenges is the team currently facing? Or, what would success look like after 6 months? These questions immediately change the dynamic. You stop sounding like someone begging for an opportunity. You start sounding like someone evaluating one. That's a powerful shift, and hiring managers notice it immediately. Now let's bring everything together. If you've been getting interviews but not offers, if you've been wondering why opportunities keep slipping away, if you've been questioning your abilities, take a breath. The problem may not be your qualifications. It may not be your intelligence. It may not be your potential. Sometimes it's simply a few habits, a few signals, a few mistakes that create doubt where confidence should exist. And the good news? Every mistake we discuss today can be corrected. Preparation can be learned. Communication can improve. Confidence can grow. Awareness can be developed. That's why understanding these hidden interview killers matters. Not because they guarantee success. Nothing can guarantee that. But because they dramatically improve your odds. And in a competitive job market, small advantages matter. A lot. Remember this quote, Opportunity rarely announces its arrival. It rewards those who are prepared when it appears. The next interview you walk into may be the one that changes everything. The question is, will you walk in prepared? If you found value in this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments which of these mistakes surprised you the most. And if you've experienced a rejection that never made sense, share your story below. Someone else reading it might learn something valuable. Thanks for watching. And remember, the candidates who keep improving are usually the ones who eventually get hired. Everyone else keeps wondering what went wrong,